Hello, hello. Welcome back to Actors Anonymous. Thanks for checking back in with us. Great episode up ahead. I know you're laughing, Jordan. It was a weird way to say it. It's fine. Co-hosting with me today is Mr. Jordan Burbank. How you doing?
Doing good, as always.
We've got a great guest with us today. I'm a big fan, and you should be too. And if you're not, stop listening. Or become a fan. Yeah, that's the better way.
That's a better way.
Mr. Jonathan Lipnicki, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
I want to start off this week's episode with an excerpt from Book of Five Rings by Musashi, the Stephen Kaufman interpretation. I want to talk about why it is necessary to have a high respect and devotion to one's craft. First off, I want to personally succeed as an actor financially, career-wise, and within my own abilities. So it's crucial for me to go beyond the surface of what I'm learning and think deeply on my craft. Here's the quote. "It is simply not possible to get good results without the necessary respect for one's tools or one's weapons. Time must be devoted to training, practicing, and maintaining one's tools or weapons, however gifted a man may be. Each aspect of the craft must be examined over and over again without regard for time and energy spent, whether physically or mentally." I mean, how much time per day do you devote yourself to acting, to your craft? And during that time, do you go, well, I did about 3 hours of work, that should be enough. Yeah, I mean, to me, that doesn't seem right. If you want to become advanced in any sort of career or craft, you have to constantly study, work, and practice at it. Otherwise, it's just like a fleeting hobby. Why, though? Why is it important to immerse yourself in your craft? For me, I love it. It's how I make a living and how I want to take care of my family someday. So in order for me to do that, I must excel at this, okay? How do I excel at this? I train, I study, I read, I practice, I develop projects, I focus, I remind myself what is important in my life and devote myself to that. Here's another passage from the book. "What would your reaction be if you were studying one craft of warriorness and then found that you truly enjoyed working with a different weapon? With a different weapon. Contemplate the reality of this. Let's say you're studying about filmmaking because you are curious to know what the process is like. You just booked a guest spot, you saw some people doing production and whatnot, and you're like, I want to learn more about that. And you come to realize that, like, holy crap, the editing portion is what I love to do more. I kind of like that a little bit more, and you start exploring that, and then you find out you have a greater love for it, and you're even more talented at that than acting. How would your life change?" Many actors go through this. There's something great about acting, and it's magical, but there are other crafts and jobs out there that have just as much meaning and adventure in them. You just have to be brave, confident, and humble enough to explore other avenues. That being said, no job is perfect. There are negative sides to every job, every single job. Always remember that if you're wanting to switch careers or crafts, that there are positives and negatives to the job, to everything in life. Jonathan, what do you think?
Well, that was a lot, but I think that's very true. A lot of people come out here and they're like, I want to be an actor, and they just see the good side of things, the positives.
Yes.
And you know what? It's really hard for anybody. You know, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how good-looking you are, how good-looking and talented you are. You still have to work hard, and I think it's very important that people, really respect what they do, like you were saying. Being a student of the game, watching, every time when it's award season, watching everything that's nominated.
Right.
And why, and, talking about it after with maybe, like, I try to watch it with friends and be like, I like that because I get why they're nominated, because,
Absolutely.
This was great, that was great, and being a fan. If you're not a fan of acting and actors, then you shouldn't be an actor.
It doesn't make sense. It would be really weird to be an actor.
Because
I'm not big into movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird. No, you think this? It's funny, but I always want to go see movies, and I have a bunch of friends who want to be actors, and they're like, oh, well, I mean, we could just go to a bar. And I'm like, well, I want to go see a movie.
Yeah.
I like the experience. I like going to the movie theaters, sitting down, watching a movie. I love the experience. And
Absolutely.
I don't get why you're doing this if you don't love everything about that, if you're not a dork about it, if you're not such a fanboy about everything.
You know what it is? My roommates get on to me sometimes about this, and I agree with them to a certain point. They're like, why don't you ever go outside to go see movies. For me, I love watching movies, but I love watching them at, like either with a small group of people or by myself in my room because I want to immerse myself in the story, in the adventure. And a lot of times when I go out for certain stuff, sometimes I'm easily distracted or easily annoyed, I think is the better term, with people in the theater. And like I watched, what was it, the Osama bin Laden, they got him, Navy SEAL Team 6 or something like that.
Zero Dark 30?
Zero Dark 30, that's it. And they had just killed Osama bin Laden. She got the phone call. Spoiler alert, they kill him.
What? No way.
And then somebody in the audience, I'm like really invested in this film. Somebody in the audience just goes, America. And I'm like, was it really worth it for the joke? Come on. Like, so for me,
that was me.
That's my thing about movies. But no, you hit it on the head. You got to be a fan about your craft, about what you're doing, and really immerse yourself in it. Now, just some backstory. Jonathan Lipnicki, for our listeners, if that sounds familiar, you were in Stuart Little. You were the child actor, the young kid in there, and the Jerry Maguire kid, as that's how I describe you to other people. So you've been in the business for a while. And you must have a really interesting perspective. I mean, have you been consistently acting in projects ever since then?
Up until a certain point, and then I went to public school. Well, actually, I went to public elementary, middle, and high school.
Okay.
Which is kind of rare for people who start young.
Absolutely.
But my parents thought it was really important, and I thank them for that.
Great.
But I took off most of the time when I was in high school. But besides that, pretty consistent. I like to say that I'm really fortunate because who knows what I would be like if I just started out and everything was as easy as it was, or not easy, but, everything happened quickly when I was younger. And if it continued to happen like that, I mean, who knows what monster I would be, but,
I totally,
you know what I'm saying? But, I'm fortunate to see, I've seen both working a ton,
right,
where it's like, wow, I can't like not book, and then just not booking anything. And I've seen both sides of it, and now I'm starting to kind of have a little resurgence where I'm working a lot again, and it's been awesome.
Right.
And I'm so appreciative, and I'm so grateful, and I've cried a few times at book things now because I'm so excited. But I think that I've been fortunate enough to see both sides and have that full perspective of what it's like.
That's so beautiful to me because people expect like, oh, he was child actor, he's always had an easy ride, but I think what's so special and most important is that you've had those down times where things weren't great, where you really find out who you are about yourself.
Yeah, it's humbling. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, my first job back from kind of like, being in high school and being a normal kid, and I cried when I booked this, was an understudy at the Mark Taper Forum downtown for the Lieutenant of Inishmore when Chris Pine did it. And that was like my first...
I saw that!
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I understudied the drug dealer and then also the kid. And for me, it was such an actor experience getting to learn from actors and being just paid to sit there and watch and study that, I mean, my friends made fun of me and people, I like cried so much when I found out I even just got because I auditioned for the role. I got close to getting it. They went a different direction and my agent was like, let's see if we can submit you for an understudy. And they're like, sure. And I was so excited about that. That was my first job back. So people would think, oh, well, since you did a bunch of movies when you were a kid, like everything's so easy. No, I was an understudy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for people who think it's so easy coming back and that I'm just offered roles, people come up to me like, well, why doesn't your agent just get you in another big studio film?
Doesn't work like
and I'm like, it doesn't, they can't do that. I have to audition for it. Plus half the world still thinks I'm 7. So,
Did you ended up seeing Inishmore, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Great play.
If you haven't seen this play, I'm sorry, but if you get a chance, if anybody who's listening, if there's a showing of it somewhere, go see it. Just go see it. Chris Pine was amazing in it. I was like, oh shit, this guy can act. He's not just like a pretty face or like funny or whatever. Like, he's legit. Are you laughing at me, Jordan?
I'm always laughing at you.
That's fine. That's fine. No, like, there's lots of blood in it too, which unexpected blood. And
7 gallons a night they used.
Oh my god!
Fake blood, I think. Something
now
like
I
that.
want to see it.
Oh my god! And his accent in it, I was like, this guy can act. So I can tell why you were super excited and cried because that's a great.
It's a great opportunity. I got to watch people like Chris, and Chris was really nice, really down to earth, cool dude. Got to talk to him a bit, and he was just a really supportive guy.
Great.
Just overall, I told him, about my, transition period or whatever, and he was really, really, really supportive. Ran into him probably a year later at the premiere for Unstoppable. Still same supportive guy. Awesome.
That's so good to hear. How do you keep busy then? Are you out of school right now?
Yeah, I decided actually last minute not to go to college, just to really focus on the craft. Going to class, and I went for 3 years straight to Playhouse West out here in the Valley, and that was amazing. Really going back to the basics and really getting a good foundation, because I think it's really important, especially when you start young. You kind of have to mature. Your talent has to mature along with your age.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people kind of think the world owes them something because they worked as a kid, or that the industry owes them something, and they just never really develop.
Right. It's you're going to say something, Jordan?
No.
Oh, you said it earlier, and you mentioned it again now. It was a blessing in disguise. You didn't all of a sudden get that fame and notoriety and all this work right when you were younger, because there are so many more valuable things to learn and experience in those downtimes in a person's life. So if you're listening right now and you're in the shit, as they say, if you're on in the bottom of the hole, appreciate the time you're in, because that's when you find out who you are, who you really are. And that's when you start growing stronger. And then if you have this mentality, and I don't know, you might disagree with me, but I truly believe the world, God, the universe, whatever you may want to believe in, it never gives you more than you can handle. I truly believe that, because there is a system of checks and balances in science, the universe, and for me, spiritually. So, whatever happens to you, and if it's like really bad, just realize to counteract that, you're just as strong as that. Excuse me, or stronger. How do you handle that downtime you had, or downtimes?
It comes and it goes, and it gets really depressing. I feel like when you book something and you work and you work and you work and you work, and then all of a sudden there's no work. What I do is I focus on making my own stuff, which I started doing recently. I had some ideas. I made this short called "You Used to Be Cute," and I've been actually pitching around town as a series, basically based off the misconceptions I get being a child actor. A lot of people think that I went to rehab or got arrested. Just crazy stuff, and I never did. I never did, for the record. I never did.
Like, a lot of people are like, I haven't seen him in a while. He must be in rehab.
He must have killed somebody. Must have killed somebody. Yeah, so, there's that side of it where like I said, I'm a fan, and I'm a dork about that stuff, and I love making my own stuff. Also, we were talking earlier about martial arts.
Yes.
And I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a little bit of wrestling, and also Muay Thai kickboxing with a little bit of Dutch kickboxing influence. And
that's awesome.
I think it's really important to find that outlet. I say some people go to a therapist. I go and I punch stuff, but but it really helps to have something because acting, it's you put all this work into it, and there's no given when it will happen for you. Where you go and you do something like martial arts, you need to have something in your life where you just consistently do something, and you consistently improve, and there's tangible results.
Yes,
because it's hard telling when you go back to your family or whatever during the break, and they're like, oh, how's that acting thing going? And you're like, I tested for a pilot, which is a huge thing. And they're like, well, you didn't get it? And you're like, they went, 20 years older, which happened to me last year.
Yeah.
So, it's hard, having stuff happen in acting where you're doing better, but it's maybe not the most tangible thing.
Right.
Because you're not, making money, or you didn't really book a job, or you're booking jobs, but they're independent films.
Right.
So I think it's important to have that outlet, whether it's working out, martial arts, painting, whatever fits you, whatever works for you. You need to be able to focus on other stuff, which also, if you do put that focus on other stuff, it does influence your art. I become a better actor because of the concentration I've had to put into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
There's definitely cross disciplines. I truly believe in the martial arts and acting and other fields. It's so nice to hear actors who are working and successful still say stuff like, yeah, I went out for that pilot and they just went out with somebody, they went a different direction. You know what I mean, Jordan? It's just, it makes you feel like, hey, okay.
Happens to everybody.
Yeah.
It really does.
This is part of the business, so don't think you're the first one they've ever rejected. They're like, oh, we've never rejected anybody before. You're the first one, you know? Because, I mean, I got in my head recently about that, man. Like, I was lucky. This pilot season has been really good to me, and I've gone out a lot. And I haven't heard back, you know? And so, like, my manager called yesterday, actually, and he's like, hey, I just want to check in, see how things are. And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, hey, yeah, it's cool. Been going out a lot. Happy. Going to do the podcast tomorrow. Things are great. He's like, okay, I want to make sure things are fine. You know, if you need me to see any self-tapes you do, let me know. And then finally I kind of like, yeah, man, I just been going out a lot and, you know, I haven't heard anything back. Haven't booked anything. Hope you guys aren't disappointed in me. Like, and so he's like, no, man, no, don't get in your head, you know. And Steve Smith from Stagecoach Management, he told me, don't get in your head about it, you know, like, keep doing you, be confident in you. And it's like, I needed to hear that again. So
that's a good manager, by the way, for the fact that he called you to make sure you were okay and everything was going on.
A great manager.
Good managers tend to know
the
effect it has on you, you know.
And I could tell he was kind of like trying to squeeze it out of me because I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's all good, man.
I'm
gonna cry. No.
You're sitting there in your pajamas eating cereal and it's like, you know, 2 PM and you're like,
you know what? I was in my boxers, just in my boxers.
I knew it.
In Bigfoot slippers, like they're slippers, but they're like Bigfoot, like the monster.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just sitting there. I was eating a snack and doing work for the podcast. And so when he called, I was in a very weird, depressing looking state. I wasn't really sad, but he kind of brought it back up.
I picture you turning to the mirror and seeing yourself and just crying.
Oh man. You said you're studying a lot, right? And are you currently still studying at Playhouse West?
Right now I'm doing some work with Sandy Marshall.
Sandy Marshall, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, and she's great. So I recommend her to anyone out there. I think her official company or whatever it's called, I think Martial Arts, but spelled Marshall. She's great coach.
Okay.
And been working with her more like me and my buddy are doing like 2-on-1 lessons, and it's been really beneficial.
That's great. Side note, I saw your Audi commercial.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very. Did you see it, Jordan?
I don't think I saw it. No.
It's a very like, you know, like you're playing yourself basically, right? But he's coming out of a swimming pool like totally sexy, like water coming off him, and you do this like thing right here, and it's like starring Jonathan Lipnicki. You know? The commercial itself is a pretty funny commercial. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Audi actually has the best car commercials.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like sleek, and they're kind of like, I feel like the young type of vibe. Or...
Yeah. And this is a side note, but it correlates with good filmmaking and good storytelling. The Audi commercial for the guy, he's basically going to prom by himself, and his dad's like, hey, you can take the car. And he throws him the Audi keys, and he's like, and then you hear the engine rev, and he's like, and he parks in the principal's spot.
Nice.
And he goes into the dance. It's like a short movie in like 30 seconds. It's so fucking cool. And like he goes into the dance, and like he just pushes everybody out of the way. It's like the prom queen, the hot girl, and he just like makes out with her in front of everybody. Everybody's like, ooh. And then her boyfriend comes, and he's like, and then he punches him right in the face, and then he's driving back home with the black eye, and he's like, yeah.
That's great.
It's a great story, and so I love how when commercials can tell you like everything you know.
Concepts.
Yeah,
you know?
So it's cool being a part of.
It was awesome. And speaking of low points, I was feeling a little low around the holidays. You know, I had some stuff happen. I'll be completely honest, and because it's what this podcast is about.
Yeah,
this will make other people feel better. I thought I was, you know, probably safe on the chopping block because I tested for a pilot, but I got dropped by my agent, and I got broken up with by my girlfriend in the same week.
Oh my gosh!
And and I was feeling really low, so I was going out and I was eating umami burger a lot, which if you haven't had it, it's amazing. And I was eating like, I don't know, 5 times in 2 weeks, so I gained a little weight, and I was a little sad. I'm like, whatever, it's the holidays. No one's, you know, going out for stuff. I'll just lose the weight by the time. I get randomly out of nowhere, I get a call for, and I usually don't get low, you know, I'm really an optimistic person.
Right.
Even when I'm low, I'm like, it's fine, I got this. This time I was like, whoa, 2 things like this happened. I got broken up with twice over the phone. So, the agent and the girlfriend. So, I was feeling really low, and I get a random call, and it's for the Audi commercial.
Wow.
And it turned me around. I dropped 12 pounds in 3 or 4 days because I was a little heavier, and I need to look good.
Whoa, 12 pounds in 3 or 4 days?
Yeah.
What did you do, dude?
Well, first of all, this is some advice I have to you people out there. Take advantage of every small opportunity you get, or any opportunity. So this was an awesome opportunity because it's me, national exposure. And so I was like, I really need to fucking look good. So I did some stuff that's really probably not great for your body, because I usually stay around the weight I need to be in case, because I never thought I would do a lot of shirtless stuff, but my last 4 jobs have been shirtless. So I try to stay around within 5 pounds of, being able to cut down and look good.
Yeah.
I was 10 pounds heavier. So I did some stuff that, like, fighters do to lose weight for, weigh-ins and stuff, because I've had to lose weight for, like, weigh-ins for jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff. But you know what? I was like, I made it my mission. I put together an awesome playlist, and I did a ton of cardio. I was lifting, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and then just not doing healthy stuff, eating wise. But, I ended up really taking advantage of that opportunity, and I felt like I looked good in it. And
yeah, you look great in it.
Oh,
man.
thank you.
Yeah, that's incredible, because see what happens when you put your mind to something.
Yeah, right.
Like that's insane.
Because you never know who's watching. Whatever you're doing, whether it's a web series, a national commercial, a local commercial, whatever you're doing, don't take it lightly. Do your best job on whatever, and that's, not saying be unhealthy. Try to don't wait till the last minute to do a lot of stuff like that. But which I made the mistake of doing, but that was a different circumstance because I was kind of sad. But
absolutely,
like you said, sometimes the universe gives you something and you feel like you can't handle it, but you really can, because it doesn't give you more than you can handle. And I was feeling really low, and I was just trying to trudge through it, and that turned it around for me.
Yeah,
just getting that commercial, I had something to look forward to, I had something to work towards, and I did whatever I could do, and I really pushed it, and it felt great to just be on a set.
That's great,
after
man.
Just being dropped by 2 people over the phone.
That sucks. But I like your tenacity of even though that bad stuff happened to you, you're like, no, I got this commercial. I need to get in shape. You basically put your body in survival mode.
Yeah.
To lose that. That's the only way you can, is when you basically like, okay, if I was lost in the woods and had to like constantly be like jogging or running.
Yeah.
Or chased by stuff.
Be jogging in the woods.
Yeah, I think of like, like you're trapped there and you're kind of naked, and so and then you hear a pack of wolves, like in the Liam Neeson movie, The Gray. Have you seen it?
A long time ago I saw The Gray.
Okay, anyway, so basically you're being chased by a pack of wolves the whole movie. So the whole time you're
at
like,
a slow jog.
You're like, I gotta get out of here, and then sometimes you're sprinting. So anyway, that was really weird. I don't know how. I'm like kind of lost right now. Anyway, but I respect that. Another thing I want to hit on, back to like respecting your craft, respecting the tools you have as an actor, especially in those downtime. Hey, time to sharpen those tools that you have.
Yeah.
Get back into some classes, read up on some books, watch some movies.
Yeah.
There's a reason for downtime for actors, and I think it's to recharge whenever you're not working. Because if you're working and you're doing that kind of stuff, that's great. Sometimes it's hard to fill in classes or learning stuff in them. Jordan?
No, I was gonna actually. I had a separate topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I was gonna ask you on a level of, because you said you had taken some time off to go to school and stuff, and a lot of people. We actually just had last episode. We had Gary Marsh say that there was so much negative. Like, he was as a child actor, it was such a negative experience for him that he wound up going into another profession and didn't like the environment. Is that something like? What was it that kept you interested in acting, but still wanting to take that break? Like, was there? What were you feeling at that point, like, that made you make that decision?
From kind of taking a break?
Yeah.
Well, I've been working really consistently, and I love working. It makes me really happy to just be there. I don't really know if it was really a big like decision I'm gonna take. I just started really focusing on, like, I played water polo in high school. I kind of focused on that, and just kind of wanted to do the normal high school thing. And to be completely honest, I was a terrible actor from 12 to 17. I kind of lost, because the best thing about being an actor is bringing yourself to something. Yeah. And I lost track of who I was.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
just love how you're like you would like you just say that about yourself with such confidence. I was like, I'm a terrible actor when I was 12 to 17. I just like how you like.
well, yeah, because I lost touch of who I was, and I was
Yeah.
trying to be like every actor that I looked up to, which is
Right,
the
right.
worst thing you can do. Bring yourself to everything, because you're the only person like you, regardless of if you look like someone else or you act a little like someone else. You're the only you.
Right.
And I maybe wasn't the best because I was stuck in a rut, so I kind of tried to. It was like probably bad imitations of a lot of actors, but I'm confident about saying that because then I made the transformation after high school and really studied acting, and I had to get back to the basics to really realize, oh my God, I wasn't bringing myself to any of this.
Yeah.
And I still would book things here and there or whatever, but there was something up, and I think that it was more than like a decision. It was really me just kind of focusing on high school, and I think the reason I, of course, went back to acting is I had a really positive experience as a child actor because, number one, I have awesome parents. Right. So that helps a lot. And they, kept me when I was not working. I was in public school. Mm-hmm. And I had normal friends. And I went to Hebrew school. And I had normal friends there. And I think the important thing was I never got wrapped up in, like, the only having friends who are actors type of thing.
Yeah.
And I throughout, like, I remember one time I got offered a series regular on a TV show. But it was baseball season. It was a youth league baseball season.
Yeah.
And I talked to my parents about it, and we decided that I was going to not do that series because I wanted to be at home and play baseball with my friends.
Wow.
And it's really important to have that balance, especially as a kid. But I think having such a positive experience, and I worked with some great people, and I think that's a big part of it. Is like I got to work with some amazing people who are also, just really great actors and also kind people.
Yes.
And I got really lucky with that and early on, and I think that kind of shaped the way I viewed acting.
Right. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't know.
No worries.
If you guys heard that at all.
I heard a little bit.
It's
It's
like
fine.
a burp coming out. You moved me, man, from the inside.
Yeah, from the inside.
I love that. It just goes to show you that, a lot of child actors weren't as lucky as you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To go through those life lessons, and it's been really detrimental to them. Not to mention any names because we don't know. They're not on the show, first off, and we don't know everything that's happened to them.
Exactly.
So to form an opinion about that would be extremely ignorant and just causing more negativity.
But they're probably in rehab or killed somebody. Right?
Oh my God, the amount of times someone confuses me for somebody else. It's
Really?
ridiculous. Okay, here's a great example.
Okay.
End of high school, I booked a guest spot on Monk. It was the last season of Monk. I think it was
Oh,
2009. It was like my last year of high school, and I was actually on the same episode as Jay Moore, who was in Jerry Maguire.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And he was playing like a lawyer in it, and I was the bad kid who was like, arrested or whatever. And we're sitting down. He has these like vitamins in front of him, and he's like, "Oh, what was your drug of choice?" And I thought he was like joking with me, so I was like, "Oh man, meth." And he starts giving me this talk about because he's sober now, and he was giving me this talk about how like it's very important that I'm sober and my road to recovery. And I'm like, wait a second, he thinks I'm serious. So I was like, no, dude.
gosh.
I never, no, that's not, I never did that.
And he's just
he's like, are you sure? Because I talked to a friend of mine before, and when I told him I was filming with you, and he said like you just gotten out of rehab, and I was like, no, Jay, and it spent like the next 30, 40 minutes convincing him, being like, Jay, I didn't do anything. I went to public school.
I'm in love with the cocoa. You guys know that song?
Terrible
song. Anyway, man, that's so funny to me. It just goes to show you, just mind your business. Really.
It was so funny because he was so sincere about telling me being so supportive of my road to recovery that I was not on.
And you're like,
and I went on his podcast actually and talked about that. We were laughing about that. Went on like a year ago. We were laughing about that story.
What's his podcast?
I think it's More Stories. That's what it is.
More Stories. Okay, cool.
MOHR.
We'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, and so we were laughing about that because it's ridiculous because someone told him or he heard some rumor and he was just like, oh, it's good that he's working again. good for him. I'm happy he's here.
Of course, we're happy
and I'm
for
like,
that.
thanks, Jay.
We're running out of time, but What are you currently working on? You got something in the works. You were on Youthful Days for a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
Youthful Days, great webs. I guess a web soap.
Yeah.
Has a pretty great following.
Yes.
Everyone's really supportive of it. I was on that for a while, recurring on that for like almost 40 episodes.
Yeah.
Great, fun time filming with some really cool people. And then
My roommates, David Lewis, and
Yeah.
or ex-roommate David Lewis, but good friend, and Travis
yeah,
Dixon.
I met David on that. David's awesome.
Yeah.
Really fun to work with.
Nuts.
And,
He was on the
yeah,
show too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small world.
Small world. All right, that's the show,
Dick.
folks. No.
And then a movie coming out sometime this year called Boone the Bounty Hunter.
Ooh,
where
okay.
I play like a bratty trust fund kid.
Oh, great.
So super fun.
That's
Don't have a shirt on in that one either.
Great.
Yeah.
So we should just expect you never to have a shirt on in any role.
You know
play.
what? You know
We
what
were
I like
shocked
to
you
say
came in.
is I'm never taking my shirt off again. I said that. I just joke about that. After every time I've done it, I'm like, never taking my shirt off again.
I had to take off my shirt for one of the episodes for Awkward, and I was doing 2-a-days.
Oh yeah.
And those are the most miserable thing you can do because
Yeah.
whenever I work out to the point where it's like muscle failure.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
you're just like, oh, I'm shaky. You can't do that with 2-a-days because then
you'll just die.
yeah, you feel like you're dying
Yeah.
the whole day. But again, respect for that. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Like,
Thanks for having me.
if you can give one piece of advice for a struggling actor out there, actor who's down in the dumps, what would you say to them?
If something isn't constructive, don't listen to it. You can get in your own head easily by listening to people who are negative or have been out here and are jaded. It is what you make it. It can be a wonderful, wonderful career if you treat it the right way. I think people really get caught up in being competitive with other people. I think we talked about that earlier. And just be competitive with yourself. Try to be the best you, and don't listen to people who are negative because they have a reason they're negative.
Right.
Because it is the best job in the world when you're, and I'm sure you can say that it's the best job in the world when you're working, and even when you're not working, just acting, doing stuff with friends, stay busy. Like be a fan of it. You know, be a student of the game.
That's great. If they want to find you on Twitter,
At J Lipnicki, and then Instagram is just my name, Jonathan Lipnicki, Lipnicki for those who are all going to spell it wrong. So it's a weird name. I don't blame you.
again, thanks for coming on the show, man. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. The Resistance is the best improv show I have seen in LA. It's an action-adventure film performed live on stage, completely improvised, fully scored. That's right, there's music that goes along with it. I have personally seen the show, and you will laugh your butt off and feel like a kid again when you see it live. You can find them online at www.resistancecomedy.com, also on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Every Sunday at 9 p.m. at Comedy Sports at 733 Seaward Street in Hollywood. Again, that's at Comedy Sports every Sunday at 9 p.m. in Hollywood. Don't miss out on some of the best live action comedy entertainment in LA. Again, that's resistancecomedy.com. And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. Our second guest for the day, he is Indie.com's Honorary Artist of the Year. Some of his TV credits include NCIS, True Blood, My Kid Ate What? I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant, and he also hosts some great segments on a YouTube channel called Hello Stonehenge. Mr. Travis Dixon, thanks for being on the show.
Hello, hello. Did I do it right? Was that it?
Close. That's okay. We'll work on it.
Darn it.
Dude, congratulations on Honorary Artist of the Year for
Thanks.
Indie.com. How many videos did you submit for Indie.com?
37 in 2014. And when it came down to it, we didn't realize that was quite how many it was until we started counting it up. We realized it was 37.
That's like every week and a half you're submitting a video.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Every week and a half for a year, Travis Dixon was submitting a video for Indie.com. If you do not know what Indie.com is, it's a website where artists of all forms, especially actors, they'll have like a competition, and they'll be like, hey, 1 minute or 2 minute video of this a scene of a interrogation, right?
Yeah.
And then
they have all kinds of sides and all kinds of casting directors on there.
yeah, and then you submit, and some of the prizes include like judges pick and voters choice. And then if you win, you sometimes get money or you get to meet.
The big thing is meeting casting directors now.
And recently you got to meet some of these casting directors, right?
I did. I got to meet Garrett Maguire, who is casting iZombie. In one of the scenes, it was a zombie scene of all things.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I shot it, and I've gotten to where I'm starting to shoot these a lot like a short film instead of just putting myself on tape, which a lot of people do. I'm trying to really find a style not only as an actor but as a director and an editor.
That's great. And we talked about it a little bit with Jonathan, but delving into other aspects, other tools for an actor. And so, where did you find an interest in editing and directing from?
Well, a lot of people know that sometimes it's not always the best actor that's on screen. It's the best editor that makes the best actor.
Right.
So, in shooting some of my own stuff, my own like comedy sketches and short films, I found that I can kind of create moments with some of the editing that I do, and I find that really fascinating because maybe you don't have the best actor, and you're like, I really have to make this work. How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And that becomes kind of obviously that's why they have Oscars for editing.
Yes.
Because you can create a brilliant performance from something that isn't.
Right. Now, as you were making these videos, did you progressively find ways of like, okay, was it helping your performance? That's what I'm asking you. When after a while, does it become like a kind of thing is like, what am I doing? Or, is it, what, I know it works well when I shoot myself in this way. Definitely.
I know that watching yourself is so integral in becoming a better actor because a lot of times you have to look at yourself and you have to judge yourself honestly. You can't say, oh, that's a great performance when you know it's not. You honestly have to sit back and say, do what I believe myself with somebody else. Do I enjoy what I'm doing? Okay, is someone else going to enjoy watching this?
Right.
So, yeah, in watching that, I've found that I've begun to edit myself a lot better. And I'm starting to notice certain quirks and certain mannerisms that maybe aren't reading on camera as well as I thought. So, I mean, just putting yourself on camera every day, every week, has been great for me as an actor to really narrow down and chip away some maybe bad habits that I have and really reinforce the good ones I do.
Right. What I love about what you've been doing, Travis, and just for backstory for people, me and Travis are roommates. We've been roommates now for 5.5 years.
Too long.
Too long, yeah.
I could have gotten another degree at that time.
No, I mean, I've seen you whenever you first started putting yourself on tape for these things, and there were checkpoints in there where you were like, you told me, like, is it even worth what I'm doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you didn't realize, eventually, like, after you keep doing them, people were noticing them without you knowing.
People were really starting to notice. And when I really I started to get emails from some of the hosts, and they started to tell me that I just wanted to let you know your video this week was excellent. Everyone in the office loves you, so on and so on. And I started to get more emails like, hey, this is what you did this week was really great. You were so close to the judges' pick. They just went with something else, which, is this entire industry. I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But they still have like Best of Indie awards, so you're still getting noticed, and they still push the videos up to the top of the list on whatever page or whatever casting director. But I definitely started to notice that they were taking notice.
Yes.
And I think I only missed 2 acting challenges all year, and I know that sometimes there are scripts that really speak to a person. I was just trying to put everything up all at once, and I know that sometimes some of the ones I just threw up weren't as good. And
yeah.
Of course, because I didn't put the homework and the passion into it, maybe those didn't necessarily get noticed as much.
Yes.
But it still was an effort I made.
Yeah. There are, not only did you get to meet with some of the casting directors, did you find those meetings to be beneficial and more than you expected, like with some of the meetings? Who did you meet with recently, actually?
It was Garrett Maguire was honestly, I've been doing it for so long. When I first started, they weren't giving meetings yet. I was winning, and it was just, congratulations. That's it.
Really?
So I didn't, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I would win, and there was no money. There was no meetings, and as they started to grow, they were like, we really need to start building this up and really giving some sort of bonus for these people to win instead of a congratulations and a pat on the back. So the first few, I didn't actually get to meet with anybody, but it's still a chance for them to look at my work and say, hey, he's my pick. I really like him, whether or not I get to meet him or not. But I met with Garrett Maguire a couple weeks ago, and then I had another meeting with the indie folks. And just in passing, I ran into Kevin Mockren, who happened to be the only casting director that I missed the entire year. I missed 2 acting challenges, and he happened to be the same one each time. But he said, I know you. You did the video where you acted with yourself, because I do a lot of videos where I'm playing a twin or it's all inside my head. So I play all the roles. It's very vain. But he recognized me from a video, from another indie video that another casting director said, hey, you got to come watch this. Come into my office and look at this. Because he works in the same office with a lot of other people. And so he'd seen my videos already without me actually submitting one to him.
Wow.
So again, just putting these videos up and just trying to be as proactive as possible is paying off a little bit.
Go ahead.
Sure. Oh, Jordan, I didn't even know you were here. Oh,
snuck up behind
scared
you.
me.
I had a question. When you initially set out to do this and submit your first video, like where does the tenacity, the drive for you come to? Like you were saying, like they didn't offer anything in the beginning, but kind of a pat on the back. But like, what drove you to continuously do this so consistently and drive you to the next level of it?
Well, the first one I submitted was actually, a friend came to me and said, I don't know if you'd be interested in this. Little did she know. She said, would you mind being my acting partner in the scene? So we shot it, and there were 2 scenes this time. You could choose a comedy or a drama. We did the drama together. I was like, okay, I really like this. What's the comedy? So I read it, and I was like, you know what? This is really cool. I immediately had an idea is what it was. Yeah. I immediately had an idea that of a way I wanted to shoot it. And this was one of those, the very first video I shot was, of course, something where I shot with myself. It was just me talking to myself, a twin, and it ended up being some crazy homeless guy in a park having a conversation with himself. I thought it was really funny to do, but it really started to push me to be creative with the script. I would look at the script and I would think, how can I change this? How can I still keep the message with what they're trying to do, but how can I change it to something that I would find interesting, even more so? And so I just kind of kept doing that with each script. And there were a few that maybe I didn't find as entertaining or it just didn't really grab me, the script. But I figured, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can try and flip it and do it my way. So that was more of the impetus, like how creative can I be with these scripts? So.
You know what I love and respect about what you've done, Travis, especially in that time period, which people need to hear about. You weren't working as much as you wanted to work, especially in that time period.
Right.
And instead of just sitting on your ass and going to your day job and whatnot, you sacrificed a lot of time and energy, especially with the countless hours I would wake up in the middle of the night and see you editing in your room.
I'm still editing, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, he's editing this small indie project in the back of my mind, and I'm like, oh, man, I hope something comes from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you've noticed, but now I don't stay up quite as late, and I don't have to edit as long because that too is getting better and faster, and
that's awesome.
And I'm working toward more perfection.
But I like that because it's like, you said to yourself, hey, I'm gonna sacrifice a little bit of my time, effort, energy, and sleep in order to at least do what I love to do. And maybe not necessarily, I don't know if anything big is going to come of this, but I'm just doing what I want to do.
That's a major commitment, too, to take, which I commend you for, because even as, producing and all that stuff, like, I hate editing. I absolutely hate it. Like, I can't be more happier giving notes to an editor.
Yeah.
Because, and to not only want to do that, but take so much initiative to learn so much about it and harness that skill to be, so meticulous, like, and spend those hours on top of, like you were saying, like your main thing was that you wanted to be an actor and you were using the videos to pursue acting, but you learn, one, it's great to be someone that can learn as much as they can from directing and editing and becoming like a multifaceted person in that aspect, but the commitment that it takes to stay dedicated to that, I commend you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you did for a while, which I really liked your daily video blogs.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, those stopped happening. But even
those were tough, doing one every single day, because I also did a blog and a video, and it just
it adds up.
Yeah.
But you kept yourself accountable, and I think it's so important.
That's what it was about.
Hey, what am I doing every day to further myself, further my craft, further my career? And I know you are struggling currently with finding representation, but you're not letting the lack of representation or the lack of finding or the struggle of finding representation stop you from still furthering your career,
Right.
which I think is such an important lesson. It's like, just because you don't have an agent or a manager doesn't mean you can't do anything productive for your career. There is a lot of things like indie.com. I'm sure there's got to be some other websites similar to
I'm
it. That
sure
do,
there's plenty, but I'm just so fortunate to have come across this one.
Right. Again, it's indie.com. You can check it out, and if you do music, they have musical
They've
stuff
got
covers.
music, they've got rap. They recently started signing people to. They actually have a music label now, and they've signed I think 3 people who are just getting bigger and there's this one guy named Seuss. He's a rapper. The guy is amazing, and he lives like I think in Kansas, out in the middle of nowhere, and he is he's just amazing. And they've signed him, and who knows what's next for this guy?
Yeah.
You should just check him out. It's not Dr. Seuss. That's something else. It's just Seuss.
Yeah. Seuss. Just
Seuss.
No green eggs and ham.
No.
Sam, I am.
It's great. Anyway, but yeah, they've got cooking. They've got cooking challenges,
Yeah.
filmmaking challenges, webisode challenges, comedy challenges, which is great for me because I've started writing a lot of comedy stuff too, and
Right.
it's totally open form. Whatever you want to do, you can write, shoot, and submit.
This goes back to when we had Gary Marsh on last week, talking about how everything's digital. It's on the internet. It's so accessible for everyone. And indie.com is one of those things where, you know what, there's no excuse. If you're an actor, you're not working, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. Not every single actor can be working on TV or on film at the same time. It's not possible. There's not a project. But there are projects you can create and be working on to help further yourself.
But being online is like the new platform. Like every, what was it? We were just last episode we talked about how like the award season, like
Yeah.
I don't even know what it was. Every company that was winning awards for the most part were online distributors. So it's like everyone's online, everyone's looking up stuff on their phones, and you might as well have that content up there. And to drive so many people, like you were saying that a casting agent knew your work previously from already seeing it, and you didn't win that specific one. That's amazing. That that
It's
means
out there.
people are looking, and you have at the same time built an entire library of work.
That's the thing. I realize now I have a whole slew of videos that I can just send to somebody.
Which isn't just acting. It's you created a whole library of stuff of you as an editor, as an actor, as a writer. It's all
Well, that strengthens you
expansive.
on set or whenever you're filming something too. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple things though. If you know the filmmaking process and you know that they're getting coverage on somebody else and it's just the back of your head, and you're still giving your partner what they need, but you realize you can save the really good stuff for when they're doing coverage on you. That's just the way, especially if it's a really dramatic scene.
Yeah.
You can't give it all with with a camera to the back of your head. You know what I mean? Currently, what else are you working on, Travis? Anything you want to plug or?
Yeah, I just started rehearsal for a musical theater benefit called Fresh Air. It's
Okay.
Arts and Relation. It's a new nonprofit Long Beach-based arts organization.
Yeah.
And we're doing a fundraiser on the 22nd of February
Yes.
to kind of build up the musical theater the area down in Long Beach.
Yeah.
The proceeds go to benefit art. They benefit Art in Relations and the Long Beach Scottish Rite Childhood Language Center.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Your YouTube channel, the Hello Stonehenge stuff.
Yes.
How did you get involved with that? Because that's a very interesting. If you've seen it, go check out one of the videos. It's really cool. I saw the Dragon Ball Z one. I'm like, yeah, I dig it.
I think that was our first one, and I mean, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and a lot of people are, I think it's one of our most viewed videos, and it just blew up. But it was another one of those I saw. I think on, I want to say Craigslist or something. I was just perusing Craigslist film and video section, and they were looking for a host of a YouTube channel, and they had 3 different scripts, and you could pick any of them, and I picked the Kennedy inauguration speech.
Okay.
You had to take that speech, and what they wanted was just to deliver the speech. But of course, what I did was I broke up the sections, and I would comment on what he was saying in I would make a comment on. I can't talk right now.
Yeah.
I would make a comment on the societal changes from the speech in 1969 to now.
Okay.
So I did my own spin on it, and it got me a callback, which I then did whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
Which got me the job. But it forced me to write, shoot, edit, and be creative.
What's really cool is you always play the best of yourself in anything when you're adding your creativity into the subject matter.
Yeah.
It seems like, and you always want to do something a little different and something more creative, and that's what stands you out. I feel like from a lot of the other indie vids that I've seen, and just in general, me knowing you.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I dare to be different.
You know,
I was gonna say that's sort of like how you would go into an audition room and you would deliver, your role the way you would want to, but the beauty of it is, it's like it's your own piece. You get to create a character. You get to like from start to finish, and you get to have a piece that's like this polished character that you can like cherish as your own like thing that you've created, and get to maybe explore more with it later on.
If one is so lucky, yes, yes.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course.
I think I want to reiterate one of the most important things that I've learned from you is there is no such thing as downtime, or there's no such thing as, well, I can't do anything.
Well, except when the next Grand Theft Auto comes out, then there's a little downtime.
There's a little downtime when that comes out, and that's late at night when you've finished all your acting homework for the day.
Exactly. I only play when I'm done with my homework.
But there's always a way to further yourself and to better yourself, and always something new to learn. I'm so lucky to have lived with you and Jonte and David, because it's such a healthy house in the sense of everybody's always hustling and learning and working on stuff.
Yeah.
And I love hearing surprises where it's like, oh, you're working on what? That's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been so busy, haven't had time to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. But again, to our listeners, check out indie.com if you are in that place where maybe you're not going out for pilot season. Maybe you can't, maybe you don't have representation. Go to indie.com, find something to do, and put yourself up there. Even something you've already filmed.
Yeah.
We've tried putting up there as well.
Chances are there's going to be a casting director on there who is going to be casting something that you may be right for, and it doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. Travis, where can they find you on the interweb?
You can find me at mrtravisdixon.com. My Instagram and Twitter is Travis J. Dixon.
Travis J. Dixon.
It's hard to say.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
And your indie.com vids, if the people want to check them out, are they all up there?
They're all up there. All you got to do is search Travis Dixon. I'm probably on the feed with a couple videos just because there are so many of me up there.
Do yourself a favor. Check out all his videos. You can see his journey through making videos, how intricate they've gotten. Jordan.
Always a pleasure, Sam.
At
Jordan Burbank 7.
Nikki, I'm going to let you talk into the mic again so you can tell people your Instagram and I don't mess this up.
Okay, hi everybody. My Twitter is Nikki592, Niki. Instagram, Nicole_Gabrielle.
Nikki is our social media coordinator, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah, and if you want to, we really encourage everybody to kind of tell us their stories, share everything. Nikki's kind of in charge of collecting all that data, and we'd love to actually put some of your stuff on the show. We'd love to hear about, what horror stories you've encountered, or different fun things or success stories that you've had too. So
ask us questions. We wanna hear for you. This podcast is for you. Big thanks to GVB Radio. Why did people
Did you just have a stroke?
No, right? A little bit, probably. GVB Radio. Thanks, Gabe, for sound engineering. We appreciate it. And you can find me at WeSamKish on Twitter and Instagram, WeSamKish.com. And for our podcast, ActorsAnonymousPodcast.com. Subscribe to us there. Subscribe for free on iTunes. It's free. What's it gonna hurt?
Subscribe. You don't have to go and download you don't have to remember that stuff. It just goes boop right into your phone.
There you go.
There's not even a boop.
There's not even a boop.
They got rid of the boop now.
There you go. Life is too
You can
easy.
make the boop. On your own.
Thanks for listening, and always remember to listen, think, and then talk.